The twisted love story I have with this beautiful maiden. The way she whispers sweet somethings in my ear. How she abruptly changes course like a country maiden sways her ample hips. Keeps me on my toes. The incessant gaze it holds over nations. It stirs something inside me. Her giggles are loud and sometimes cunning. It irritates me yet leaves me intrigued. Her mind games, her ability to make me churn rhyme out of chaos. It's a dance of love and annoyance that often leaves me queasy. She plays the puppet master, always claiming to be right, weaving a web of truths and untruths. She makes me chuckle with its absurdities, then stealthily sweeps me into a wave of melancholy with the harshness of its realities. And when she is absent, I miss the sultry warmth of her bosom. When she decides not to show up, a sense of emptiness lingers. The echo of its non-existence rings louder than the clamor she usually brings. But the oddest thing of all, despite all my gripes, I can't bring myself to despise her. No, not at all. In fact, it's quite the contrary. I find myself smitten, entrenched in this bizarre love-hate saga with her. She, the world of global affairs. Okay, enough romance for one day. Let's get down to business. You're watching Globetrotting for Gossip and I'm Atul Mishra. Let's begin. Let's start with Asia. I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart. You broke my heart, said Michael Corleone in The Godfather 2. Soon Putin will be chiming the same lines. I know it was you, you broke my heart. To which she will probably reply, I am not a warring nation like you. I got to think about business too. Yes, the China-Russia friendship is a myth. The recent visit of US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken to China and the Bank of China's subsequent decision to restrict Russian bank clients' transactions involving banks located in the EU, the US, Switzerland, and the UK cannot be a coincidence, and it is bound to leave Russia seething in anger. The Tibetan leader in exile, Sikyong Pengpa Tsering, decided to join the species of invertebrates after remaining human for a long time when he decided to accept Chinese suzerainty over Tibet. He said, if kinds of autonomies like those accorded to Scotland and South Tyrol in the UK and Italy are granted to the Tibetans, they will be happy to live under the framework of the People's Republic of China's constitution. I can totally imagine Xi Jinping standing in a dark corner like Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. Ah, yes, I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body? Let me tell you a story from an ancient Indian scripture. Savitri was a loving wife to Satyavan, who used to be a king but now had fallen on hard times. They were childless and lived in the woods. Once a snake bit Satyavan and he died instantly. When Yamraj, the god of death, came to take Satyavan, Savitri was not letting him take his deceased husband's body. Frustrated, Yamraj asked Savitri to ask for any boon, except her husband's life. So Savitri said, I wish to feed my husbands and my son in a new gold bowl every day. Yamraj said, so be it. And Satyavan got up as if from a deep slumber. Then Yamraj realized the cleverness of Savitri. She had asked for wealth and a child from her husband, which wouldn't have been possible had he remained dead. So she very cheekily asked for her husband's life in a very benign sounding wish. This is exactly what Japan is doing these days. Japan is asking the US if its weapon stocks need replenishment. Japan has announced that it will now restart exporting its crucial defense equipment to its Western allies in a bid to restore their stockpile. Upon USA's nod, the Japanese arms industry will wake up again. It has remained dead for over 70 years now, a benign wish and the hopes and aspirations of the sleeping samurai. You better die if you try, because if you don't, I will give the Rikishi stink face and sit on you. until you die. That's of course not an actual quote, but something like this is happening in North Korea, where suicide has been outlawed. Those found trying to kill themselves will, be killed. Let's move to Europe. Spain is boycotting a meeting of NATO defense ministers with the defense industry because any of Spain's leading firms were not invited. Dear Spain, you probably do not know the full form of NATO, which stands for Noticeably America Takes Over, or Naughty America Takes Over if you're into fun and stuff. You being counted as a NATO nation is enough. Otherwise, NATO is as American as fast food or baseball or Obama. I'm not too sure about Obama though. Giorgia Meloni went full Wonder Woman by doing things others cannot do, so others can continue to do the things they do. Giorgia Meloni government has drafted a law that specifically targets religious practices among migrants. The proposed legislation aims to prevent the Islamic transformation of unconventional spaces like industrial garages and warehouses into places of worship. Religious processions must never become a public spectacle, and if it does, it should be strictly in the home country. The arms market in Europe is turning like Kamala Harris's cackle, loud, scary, and out of control. It is as if the world is gorging Ukraine with weaponry in an unprecedented feast of militarism, making the nation a ticking time bomb of unpredictable armed threats, with no one keeping tabs. So many arms have been sent to Ukraine that a Gotham-like city has started flourishing underground. And the Batman, in this case, is Joe Biden, a relic from 3 centuries back whose age is not calculated but carbon dated, who falls more than walking and stutters more than King George VI. Ouch. The shriveled raisin with cat-like eyes called Ursula von der Leyen by the world is fighting the toughest battle of her life. The man who was sidelined by liberal elites just to pick the shriveled raisin as EU commissioner has resurfaced. The man is Manfred Weber, and he has now gone rogue. Weber, despite being from the shriveled raisins party, has announced that he and his supporters will now take a harsh stance against shriveled raisins, climate, green, and migration madness, a plot he believes will make him the commissioner in 2024. Let's move to North America. Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, who are more Islamist than Osama ever was, are crying stones. The squad of Democrats is feeling constipated because their arch nemesis, Narendra Modi, has arrived in USA for a trip. Ilhan Omar, in a brave move, has announced that she will not attend Modi's address in House of Commons. As an Indian, I'm crestfallen, Ilhan. Your leech-like eyes, witch-like nose, and ditch-like mouth will be sorely missed by 1.4 billion Indians in India. And it's a good thing you've decided to stay away from Modi, because the man hates the likes of you. Hunter Biden, who has sniffed all kinds of powders on the planet, injected every kind of serum in his veins, and has illicit relationship with every organism on the planet, is scheduled to formally plead guilty to tax and gun charges on July 26th at a hearing in his hometown, Wilmington, Delaware. The 53-year-old son of President Biden is expected to be sentenced to probation, drawing howls of an alleged double standard from attorneys whose clients received much harsher penalties. Oh wait, is this a new ploy to trick people? Of course it is. He needs to be lodged in the same jail cell where Jeffrey Epstein was launched. But for that, Americans need to vote Trump in. Speaking of Trump, he said that he can end the war within 24 hours. His solution? Parcel Zelensky to Russia, make him sign the peace deal, and then parcel him back without letting him drink Putin's tea. Zelensky was, of course, mad. He said, why didn't he stop the war when he was president? No one stopped the war now. I might have an answer to that question, you olive green wearing, chaotic, vertically challenged, cherub-cheeked retired comedian, because there was no fucking war then. Trudeau was born with a silver spoon in the mouth, and now he plans to work with a velvet pillow under his ass. The Liberal Party of Canada has made the hybrid parliament a permanent fixture. To avoid difficult questioning in parliament, Trudeau and his cabinet colleagues have come up with a novel solution. They want to work from home indefinitely. Canadians can make this right. Get them out of their comfy couches and make the rascals haul their asses back to the parliament and cry while sitting on the opposition benches. Indians are nice, gentle people doing namaste all the time, greeting elders by touching their feet and eating more sweets per capita than an entire American state. But you have been lied to. Hollywood stereotypes actually works in our favor, and any killing on foreign soil is duly attributed to the Russians or CIA or Mossad. We do our namaste and saunter away. But as Trudeau appeases Khalistani radicals and Jagmeet does dance for them on TikTok, India is eliminating Khalistani terror on Canadian soil. Various Khalistani extremists have met mysterious deaths in the past few months, indicating a well-coordinated effort to neutralize them globally. These developments have left Khalistan supporters in Canada in a state of frenzy. As India continues its mission to eliminate the Khalistani threat, Trudeau may find himself caught in an uncomfortable situation. Come on, Canadians, we are taking out your filth. Have some gratitude. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on this wild adventure through the world of geopolitics and gossip. We have laughed, we have cringed, and we have shared countless moments of world-changing gossip. But as this exhilarating journey comes to an end, I must confess something. I'm obsessed with the number 2. Number 2, the cheeky and mischievous digit that often gets overshadowed by its showy sibling, the number 1. But let me tell you, there's nothing ordinary about the extraordinary number 2. The number 2 is synonymous with bathroom breaks, and it transcends language and cultural barriers. 2 is the only even prime number. There are only 2 digits in the binary systems. There are only 2 moon cycles. There are only 2 helices in a DNA. There are only 2 faces in a coin. Roman god Janus has only 2 faces. There are only 2 primary cardinal directions. There are only 2 hemispheres in the brain. And my dear friends, there are only 2 genders in the world. Take care.